ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, honorable ministers and managers, adorable doctors and directors, the most honorable present Prime Minister Modi ji, all listeners, learners, dear friends, I heartily, cordially welcome all of you. Today it is 23rd of December. It is well known that these are the final days of this year, and in these days, how we can prepare ourselves for the new year. These preparations efforts are being done by all the departments of agriculture, industry, communication, transportation, railways, post office, and hospitals. Everyone is ready to celebrate, to welcome, respect, thank New Year. We celebrate every day in the form of festival. If we spend our time with nature, our country is basically known by natural country. Nature is the basic principle or doctrine of our nation, especially. India is a special country. How? Because of its unity in diversity, because of its varieties, adversities, diversities. But the most important thing among these variations, it has oneness, equality, and unity. Constitutionally, our forefathers, freedom fighters, free thinkers, foretellers, forecasters, astronomers, astrologers, all personalities, those who came in the form of saint, starters, initiators, and beginners, they declared it that India is the multidimensional, multi-sided, and multifaceted country of the world. It has numberless dimensionalities. How our youngsters can be creators, generators, operators. Today, it is the great need Undoubtedly, it is being fulfilled by our youngsters, founders of the different missions throughout the world, at the social media platform, in all the platforms of WhatsApp, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Everyone has become creators. It is due to the inventive and innovative approach of our youngsters. It is being possible by our all holy scriptures of this holy land, by the teachings and technologies of our spiritual starters, beginners, initiators and creators like Swami Vivekananda, who started Ram Kishan Mission, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, who started Brahm Samaj, Dayanand Saraswati, who started Arya Samaj, Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, who started Sikhism, Shah Mastana Ji Maharaj, who started Sacha Soda. Numberless incarnations, spiritual starters addressed from this holy land to the worldly people. It happened by the great masses of this holy land. This holy spiritual land of India has a great message for the worldly people. It recreated, regenerated and reoperated this message throughout the world. That is the peace, universal brotherhood, love and affection in the humanity. And it is the common teaching of all our holy scriptures that humanity is our religion, humanity is our caste. Our body is the temple of God, heart is the seat of God, carrying power. All holy religions of this holy land. Our spiritual starters addressed us to share our sorrows and joys with others, to share our food, clothing, shelter with others at the rate of humanity. If we are the true human being, then we are the good culturistic person. It is the great feature of this holy culture that we belong, we follow renunciation, tolerance for all holy religions. Because every religion addressed us to love with humanity. Undoubtedly, we follow this message that our forefathers addressed us, the protector of countless universes, that Paramatma is our Father, then for what should we worry? If you accept that God is mine, I belong to God, then there will be a tremendous transformation in you. You will become carefree, fearless. Accept that God belongs to you and all your work is done. Not even a fraction of a task will be left for you. Jnana Yoga, meditative yoga, bhakti yoga, etc. We do different type of yogas, pranayam, meditation. These are the most ancient therapies. Nothing will be left. The striver means for sadhaka. A person who is the meditator will become complete with all objectives achieved. All knowledge earned and all desires fulfilled. He who is the guardian of all countless cosmos, that God is mine. If this is accepted, then what else is left? And how is left? The essence of love is belongingness. For those who are dear to us, we naturally tend to remember them. We remember our wife, son and daughter because we love them. We have accepted our belongingness to them. If you want to love God, accept that He belongs to you. He belongs to you. Then you will naturally remember Him without any effort. Whatever you start liking, the mind automatically goes towards it. God is mine. The power that lies within this is not there in renunciation and austerities. Each and every soul is a child of God. And other bodily forms such as deities, fiends, demons, ghosts, ghouls are also God's children. If you just accept that we are God's child, then what stops you? Once you accept it, then most of your work is done. The state that is not achieved even after years of sadhana will be attained just by accepting this. We belong to God. We have been blessed with this incredible truth. Now, what else do we require? If you just don't forget our belongingness to God, then everything will become all right. We will experience. We wouldn't be required to perform sadhana. It will happen naturally. The essence of love is belongingness. For those who are dear to us, we naturally tend to remember them. We remember our wife, son and daughter because we love them. We have accepted our belongingness to them. If you want to love God, accept that He belongs to you, then you will naturally remember Him without any effort. Whatever you start liking, the mind automatically. God is mine. Power that lies with us. is not there in renunciation and austerities. Each and every soul is a child of God. 8.4 million forms of bodies and other bodily forms such as deities, fiends, demons, ghosts, ghouls are also God's children. If you just accept that we are God's child, then what stops you? Once you accept it, then most of your work is done. The state that is not achieved even after years of sadhana will be attained just by accepting this. We belong to God. We have been blessed with this incredible truth. Now, what else do we require? If we just don't forget our belongingness to God, then everything will become alright. We will experience. We wouldn't be required to perform sadhana. It will happen naturally. We belong to God. If we remember this truth, then impurities will not come close. They will run away. But if we forget this, then we will get surrounded by impurities. We belong to God. By accepting this, all of you can become a saint wherever you are. No one can interrupt you from this. Now we belong to God, accept so, and immediately become carefree, fearless, calm, and worryless. For instance, a son naturally, without even any education, has complete ownership over his father's property. Similarly, because of your belongingness to God, you will naturally inherit properties of God. When we look at the Mahabharata, we notice that the Lord presented the Pandavas with both favorable and unfavorable conditions in plenty. But it was incredible of the Pandavas that they never disrespected the Lord. Among the Pandavas, Bhimasen had a big mouth, but even he never spoke against the Lord. Such should be the Lord's admirers. Whereas Duryodhana never developed any admiration for the Lord. He considered the Lord a clever and shrewd man. Incredible in the fact that even when conditions moved against their will, similarly, in situations happening against our will, we should still see that the Lord belongs to us. The Lord belongs to us. Numerous things are told concerning God, but those who wish to attain liberation should not dwell on how is God, how not is He. The truth that delivers liberation is there is a God, and however He is arch. The foremost thing is we have a Lord. We are not orphans. The truth should be firmly accepted. The most promising technique to experience God realization is I belong to God. Mind, intellect belongs to nature. Therefore, if the mind, intellect is unsettled, then that's nature's problem. As I belong to God, as God is immortal, so I am also immortal. Since God never dies, then how can I die? That's why the saints have spoken, I belong to God, God belongs to me. This truth is greater than chanting the Lord's name or God's remembrance. This is true devotion. In reality, only he is a devotee who belongs to God. He who belongs to God is not an ordinary person. A material person is ordinary. Objects and actions are related to these words. We are in no way related to them. While performing any action, remember that I belong to God. Then, in what way should I perform this duty? Intuitions will naturally emerge within your mind. If you will love, then in what way occur within your mind? God is mine. This is a genesis for love. Love doesn't arise from renunciation, austerities, etc., but from belongingness towards the Lord. This truth is profound. After many years of delivering discourses, I became aware of this truth. Whatever belongs to us naturally becomes dear to us. We belong to God. God belongs to us. This is no ordinary truth. Such devotion is of high status. There is no sadhana equivalent to it. This is no ordinary truth. Such devotion is of high status. There is no sadhana equivalent to it. We belong to God. God belongs to us. We have become aware of this. Now, why will we take another birth? Why will we take another birth? Most conclusive and essence of all is the fact that only God is ours. Except Him, no one else is ours. God is ever present with us. Except Him, stays with us forever. If you accept this truth, then it is greatly benefiting. What comes and goes never belongs to us. But God is always present with us. He never departs. This is the essence of all Shastras, Puranas and Vedas. So behave with love with everyone. Serve everyone. Respect everyone. Honor everyone. But in your heart, don't consider anyone yours. Within your heart, consider only God as yours. If you acknowledge others as yours, then one day you will have to weep. To serve everyone is ours, but for ourselves, no one is ours. For ourselves, only God is ours. You may consider God as Saguna, Nirguna, Sakar, Nirakar, etc. Whatever you believe, but He is ours. What I have told you is the essence which is not heard everywhere. If you say in front of Yamaraja, the deity of death, also that I belong to God, then even Yamaraja will shiver. If you accept your relationship with God, then purity and piousness will naturally come to you. We belong to God, God belongs to us. Be merely uttering this. You will become pure naturally. You might be a disobedient child, but even then we belong to God. We just have to eradicate our disobedience. Sadhana that happens by the virtue of the body. That sadhana also is not valuable. From within, God is mine. The value that this has is not there in chanting, etc., performed by the body. A chaste wife doesn't say her husband's name, but does that diminish her love for her husband. Among hundreds of men, she finds only her husband as being a fragment of God. You are one with the Lord. The body is one with the material world. If the body doesn't appear as ours, then Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga, all three will become effortless. Even after these many years of satsang, if we don't accept that the body belongs to the world and we belong to God, then what have we done? high talks like a pandit wouldn't suffice. It is a profound truth that till God is not realized, until then, developing a relationship with anyone is dangerous. When you haven't become free from existing relations, then why do you develop new relationships? All relationships have already become tough for you to break. Then what will your condition be? If you develop new relationships, it will be an utter disaster. Formulating a relationship with anyone is the cause for downfall. Jadbharata developed a relationship with the deer, so he had to take a deer form. The word sabandha means relationship, only means bondage in an excellent manner or in a great way. Formulation of a new relationship is a new danger. A man asked another, if I hold the tail of this mare, then what will you give me? The other replied that the mare herself will give it to you. She will kick you so hard that you will die. It is required of a striker, sadhaka, that he must not develop a relationship with anyone. Whatever relationships exist, they are also not broken. Then why formulate new ones? A relationship with the material world is the obstacle. This truth is extremely rare. Keep your relationship only with God. Whose fragment you are, you accept this or not, acknowledge this or not, or forget this altogether, even then your relationship with God will never break. If you accept your relationship with God, your sorrows will disappear. Whatever study I have done, the books I have gone through, and after pondering, it is the foremost truth that we belong to God. Accept this fact for eternity, that I am not without a Lord. I belong to God. What I find most valuable for all in my view, I speak that also what is foremost in the view of the Vedas, Puranas, Shastras and Sant Mahatmas, I speak that. I don't speak against them. An error might occur, but don't focus on that. The fact that it's special for us, friendly for us, individual for us, personal for us, profound for us, respectful for us, and beneficial for us. Is that our relationship is with the Lord. We belong to God. There is nothing as remarkable as this truth. Even the Lord had stated that every soul is my fragment only. It is a request to everyone that you must accept God as yours. You just accept this truth and your improvement will happen automatically. Whether you understand or not, accept that we belong to God. Plenty of other facts are there as well. But I belong to God. This is the evidence. That is why I repeatedly say this point. You may say that, Swamiji keeps on reiterating. The same thing that we belong to God. But even after repeated emphasis, if you don't accept, then how will you accept by stating it just once? So don't get fed up, except for God. Nothing else is going to stay with you. Reside in this world with immense pleasure, but God is mine. Do not forget this. Everything will then become alright. Renunciation, disinterest, etc., everything will happen by itself. An easy way to awaken devotion, is to consider God as yours. You see, in the material world as well, that whom a man considers as his own appears dear to him. We belong to God. God belongs to us. This is the essence. Every other point comes under this. Accepting God as ours is a liberating truth. By merely considering the Lord as ours, the Lord gets pleased. Therefore, you just accept God as your mother, father, brother, husband, son, friend, master, disciple, etc. Ram is my mother and Ram is my father. Ram is my Lord and Ram is my friend. Oh, the compassionate Rama is my all in all. I do not know any other except him. Indeed, I do not know any others. I belong to God. By holding this sentiment, your ego will become connected to God, then devotion will become easy and supreme. Without altering the ego, devotion doesn't become great. This is a principle. If you become God's, then the realization of God becomes effortless. Otherwise, God realization will be difficult. Among us, all the difficulties faced in God realization, this is the foremost. In this material world, everyone loves just ostentatiously, but not generally. God is urgent reality. The dearer the Lord is to us, no one is as dear as Him. The body appears good, but even that is not ours. I have studied books. I have also been in the company of saints, and wherever I got to hear good facts, I have been there as well. After visualizing many facts, after reading, after listening, after understanding, and after contemplating, I have concluded that no one is equally dear to us as God is. I belong to God. This truth is the essence of all truths. To attain God and His love, belongingness is the main factor, and not austerity, charity, pilgrimage, fasting, etc. If you perform hundreds of austerities, fast, pilgrims, fast, etc., even then nothing can be equivalent to belongingness with God. Belongingness with God is greater than chanting meditation as well. Chanting God's name, contemplation of God, meditation of God, trance in God, greater than all of these is I belong to God. God belongs to me. The more firmly you trust this, the better your job will become. God is almighty. He can grant everything. He can do anything. So He is mine. He will help me. He will protect me. This desired sentiment must not be there. God is mine. That's it. Don't demand anything from Him. Even if He graces by His appearance or not, that's His wish. Where is God? How is He? What does He do? What He doesn't do? These things are not that much required than belongingness. If He graces by His appearance, He is mine. If He doesn't grace by His appearance, He is mine. If He provides joy, He is mine. If He provides grief, He is mine. If He puts me through any situation, even then God is mine. The situation is not mine. The situation is not mine. God is mine. Remember this one truth. Fix this in your mind. Live every moment belonging to God. There are interruptions in chanting meditation, but there are no interruptions in belongingness. For instance, upon rising the sun doesn't have to illuminate. The illumination happens by itself. Similarly, upon becoming gods, one doesn't have to work for the betterment. The betterment happens itself by God's grace. I belong to God as and as this sentiment grows firm. Likewise, remarkability will come within you, and then exceptional joy will be there. The distance from God, the difference from God, and the distinction from God will resolve by not accepting God as ours. Various and many new troubles will arise, and by accepting God as ours, all troubles will resolve. The entirety of the embodied souls are fragments of God. Therefore, this belief must be there within each one of us that we are God's beloved son, daughter. If you will accept yourself as God's fragment, then even without saying, listening good qualities and virtuousness, righteousness will themselves come within you. Such qualities will appear within you. You only will get surprised. But this will happen by accepting your relationship with God. We belong to God. This is the essence of all truths. You may be a householder or a renounced. If you accept God as yours, then you will become preeminent. Mirabai accepted God as hers. मेरे तो गिरधर गोपाल दूसरों न कोई. Mirabai neither gave birth to any son nor made any disciple. Still even saints utter her name with the utmost respect. When this one objective will develop, that I belong to God and I will proceed towards God, then Yamaraja will become scared of you. Mighty flowers will be scared of you. Flowers will resolve by themselves only. No one will be able to conquer you. God will protect you until you have one objective decided. Till then, all flowers will plunder you, trouble you. When a human taken refuge in a king, then thieves, marauders start to become scared of him. You take refuge in God and all flowers will be scared of you. You will obtain the strength to conquer lust, anger, etc. Whatever relation with God seems appropriate to you, accept that and become carefree. You formulate a relationship with God. This is an eminent strategy to develop love. Until you formulate a relationship with God, till then, love will not arise. Accept God as yours, and everything will become alright. Righteous thoughts will emerge themselves, and those thoughts will be followed as well. Your body is a son of your mother, father, but yourself is a son of God. We belong to God. If you accept this truth, then your satsang will be successful like a rich man's son has pride within him. A king's son has pride within him. Similarly, you should be proud that I am God's son. An easy and simple fact. God is mine. If God is called mine in such a way, then it impacts that the Lord immensely, estranged for countless births and after serving and suffering in 84 lakh bodily forms, if the embodied soul utters, O Lord, I am yours. O dear Lord, you are mine. Then it satisfies God immensely. God will be utterly praised. As if God has found something that belonged to him but was lost from him. Those who tread on the light of their sadhana, those who tread on the might of their sadhana, they are mere laborers. A mother never waits the activities of her child. That if he has worked this much, then I'll feed him this much, I will love him this much. Waiting of activities is for a servant, that whatever work he has done, he will be paid accordingly. People often require riches, estates, splendor, etc. But God doesn't require anything. Thus, those who take refuge in their ability and worship perform sadhana, ponder and contemplate. They all toil as laborers. Therefore, instead of depending on the might of your toiling, you must depend on the strength of belongingness to God. A wife is chaste from the soul. A wife is chaste from the self, not by consciousness. She doesn't become chaste by purifying her inner consciousness or antakarna. Does marriage happen after the purification of the inner consciousness? This is an acceptance of the self. Acceptance has no connection with the pureness or impureness of the inner consciousness. Acceptance is of the self, not of the consciousness. If the self accepts God as his own, then what role will inner consciousness play? Will you accept God as yours after purification of the inner consciousness? I belong to the Word. there is a great downfall in this. I belong to God. There is a great uprise in this. By having belongingness with God, you don't have to purposely leave the bodily practices, but it is left naturally. I am the body. If you accept so, then all flaws come. But I belong to God. God is mine. If you accept so, then none of the flaws will come near you. It is if a striver, sadhaka, performs all worldly obligations by believing himself as God, then his worldly activities become all right, and so will the activities for God. But if he performs all worldly obligations by believing himself as belongingness to the world, then his worldly activities will not be all right. Activities for God will not even happen. God is ours, but not for our use. Instead, we are for his use. It means that we should not take anything from the Lord. Instead, we have to give ourselves to him. And even in the most difficult of circumstances, we have to consider it as a blessing sent by the Lord and remain delighted. Listening, contemplation, profound meditation, restriction of the eyes, nose, ears are not required. The fact is extremely simple. Girdhar Gopal is mine and nobody else. Nobody is ours except God. If it doesn't suit you, even then accept it. This fact is true. Do not consider this to be difficult. The embodied soul is a fragment of God. There is nothing as great as this fact. I express to you these folded hands. I express to you with folded hands that you must give importance to the fact that I belong to God. You must strengthen this determination. Nothing similar to this exists, has never existed, will not exist, and is impossible to exist. The best truth that has come under my opinion to attain salvation is we belong to God. We belong to God. If you accept so, then I consider this as the best form of bhiksha or alms. If you give me alms for a lifetime, even it is not that much beneficial, then accepting this single fact that I belong to God. We are not going to stay here. We have come here and we have to leave like we stay in a traveler's eye. Similarly, we should consider ourselves here. Even when this body is not ours, then who else is ours except for God? Nobody is universe. This is the first truth. This is the last truth. And this is the ultimate truth. After many years, this had suited me to consider God as ours. God is ours and nobody else is ours. This truth is from my heart. Except for this, I don't know much. There are Om Shri Paramatmane Namah drops of nectar. We belong to God. God is ours. This is the true mantra. If you accept this, then your life will change in a few days. If someone asks who you are, then this must come within you first. I am God's. I belong to God. This is like a treasure. This is like a treasure hidden within your house. Because of not being known to it, you are suffering like a poor. Oh dear Lord, I am yours. If you accept this, then it is your insurance that God's place. Then keep on remembering God at all times. Do chanting of God's name. This is paying installments of that insurance. In the entirety of the eternal cosmos, nothing equivalent to even a strand of hair is ours. But in whole single fragment, the entirety of the cosmos exists that God is ours. To eliminate all troubles and sufferings of the humans, there is a hunger, desire within the Lord that He calls me as His with a sincere heart. Just say, oh dear Lord, I am yours, and God become happy. Then God becomes happy. If anyone considers somebody as his, then he doesn't consider God as his completely. Even if he keeps on saying that God is mine, if you have to remember God on purpose, then understand that your belongingness to God has not happened for utilization only. Objects are ours and for ourselves. Only God is ours. Thus, make use of objects for the world and make use of yourself for God. Accept that I belong to God. If I belong to the world is accepted, then let go of worldly activities. Even with God's worship, you will forget God. If a married woman remembers her mother's house, that doesn't make her unmarried again. Similarly, when we belong to God, now if we may remember the Lord, if we remember the word, that remembrance doesn't make us belong to the world. Worship is not constant. The relationship is constant. So I belong to God. You must change your ego in this way. Nay, by connecting your relationship with God and becoming the same caste as Him, the realization will be attained quickly. If you desire your salvation, then only keep attachment with God. Any other attachment is not helpful in attaining salvation. Even Sant Mahatmas develop your relationship with God. By considering objects and people as yours, pride will poison you, but everything is God and God is mine. By accepting this, you will not be poisoned by prides, as God has come in between. Nothing belongs to me and God is mine. If these two facts are accepted, then it will sail your boat. You will attain spiritual success very quickly. This path, when compared to others, provides prompt liberation. When a child calls Ma, Ma, his aim, focus and trust are not on the word Ma, but instead on his relationship with his mother. The word Ma doesn't have power, but a mother's relationship has. Similarly, the power that exists in God's relationship is not there in his name. The jiva of the embodied soul is a fragment of heart. You have heard this, but I belong to God. Do you believe in this? Upon marriage, as the child is not born immediately, but is born sometime later. Similarly, you become gods, and all that you want will happen after some time. Realization will happen naturally. Accept this from your heart that we belong to God. We are pure. We are not at all sinners. We belong to God. Just by accepting this, in the end, eternal purity will come. Even if you are the worst of the sinners, even then, God cannot deny that. He is not mine. When you become gods, then all your doings become for God. You are gods. You are gods. Your house is God's. Your kin is God's. Objects are God's. If you accept this, then your satsang is successful. Accept everything as God's. What path easier than this should I tell? If a mother has 10 sons, it doesn't mean the mother has to divide in 10 parts. The mother belongs to all 10 sons completely. Similarly, God is everyone's completely. Accept yourself as God's, and no guru is required thereafter. I belong to God and God is mine. If you just accept this, then our satsang is a success and your work will also be done. Only God is mine. There is no oblation, no austerity, no pilgrimage, no knowledge, and no other fact greater than this one. Accepting the word edge, arch, and not accepting God as ours is a tremendous tragedy. Tremendous tragedy. Tremendous tragedy. If the mind is mine, the intellect is mine and the body is mine, then how will God be least? Nothing in this world is mine. This is knowing the world completely. Nothing in this world is mine. Know this, and God is mine. Accept this. Your work will be done. Even if you don't understand this, accept that God is mine. Even if you accept it falsely, I will become the truth. It will become the truth. Because in reality, He is ours. If you have faith and trust in God, and God is mine, you have this sentiment within you, then even if you are not literate, you will become extremely intelligent. If you accept that God is mine, then all your shame would be fulfilled. Once your relationship with God is established, all your ill behaviors will go. You will become a good son. You belong to God in the first place. All behaviors were acquired later on, good or bad. However I am, I belong to God. Then everything else will become all right. Your behavior, your feelings, your lifestyle, everything will improve. We belong to God. God is ours. This is the real mantra. If you accept this, your life will change within a few days. The more we accept the word as ours, the distant our belongingness with God becomes. Except for love, nothing has the strength to attract God. A crucial factor is attaining that love. In love is belongingness. Belongingness attracts God. A child's belongingness only attracts mother, only attracts the mother. Therefore, belongingness is a crucial factor in visualizing God. Whenever a human says, "Oh Lord, I am yours, you are mine," God is extremely pleased upon hearing this. This is an insider secret. मेरे तो गिरधर गोपाल दूसरों ना कोई. That's it. This is the whole point. There is nothing complicated. Mirabai had shown the path to everyone. I belong to God. God is mine. There is no capability, no eligibility, and no right, etc. Equivalent to this belongingness. This is the essence of all the paths. If anyone anytime asks you, "Where are you from? Who are you?" then it should naturally come with your mind that I belong to God. I belong to God. This does not have to be told in front of everyone, but within your mind this should arise that I belong to God. God is ours. Accept Him. Nobody is ours. If you accept this, you will become liberated, enlightened, and a Mahatma. Except for God, even if the Guru is accepted as yours, then there is a violation and benefit has not occurred. We belong to God, God is ours. We must accept this fact with clenched teeth, clenched teeth, squinted eyes, and a stiff chest, then even gross, shudder, stool and suksham. Gross means stool, shudder means suksham, and causal means karna. Bodies are not arch. Then what else can be arch in this world? What can be arch in this mortal world? The agents of all parts and aspirant must accept the following all points firmly. One is God is here. Two is God is present now. He is here. He is present now. God is within us. He is within us. God is ours. He is ours. As God is omnipresent. Thus, He is present here as well. As He is present at all times, past, present, future, thus He is present now as well, as He exists within everyone. Thus, He is present within us as well, as He belongs to everyone, thus He is ours as well. With this point of view, as God is present here, so we are not required to do anywhere else to realize Him. As He is present now, so we are not required to wait for the future to realize Him. As He is present within, so we are not required to search Him anywhere outside. And as He is ours, so we are not required to consider anyone else as ours. As He belongs to us, He will naturally become extremely dearer to us. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thanks, all listeners and learners, all my honorable, respected, adorable, venerable personalities. I once again thank all of you. May God bless all of us. Thank you.